Hello, sweet nieces and nephews. Sam and Lila, Owen and Kate and Henry and Judd. I miss you and I'd love to be with you at this time. I'd love to be with you anytime, right? I'm going to read you one of my favorite children's books, and I hope it's interesting to all ages. Might not be, but at least some of you will enjoy it. This book is Super Fudge by Judy Blume, and I bought it so long ago. Look how old it is. I think it was old when I bought it. This is such a great book. If you've read Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing or any of the Fudgy books, you may have even read this one. It's called Super Fudge, and it's about a fifth grade boy named Peter, and his little brother drives him crazy. Let me read it to you. Super Fudge by Judy Blume, Chapter 1. Guess what, Peter? Life was doing okay when my mother and father dropped the news. Bam. Just like that. We have something wonderful to tell you, Peter, Mom said before dinner. She was slicing carrots in the salad bowl. I grabbed one. What is it? I asked. I figured maybe my father had been made president of the company, or maybe my teacher phoned saying that even though I don't get the best grades in fifth grade, I'm definitely the smartest kid in the class. We're going to have a baby, Mom said. We're going to do what? I asked, starting to choke. Dad had to whack me on the back. Tiny pieces of carrot flew out of my mouth and hit the counter. Mom wiped them up with a sponge. Have a baby, Dad said. You mean you're pregnant? I asked Mom. That's right, she told me, patting her middle. Almost 4 months. 4 months? You've known for 4 months and you didn't tell me? We wanted to be sure, Dad said. It took you 4 months to be sure. I saw the doctor for the second time today, Mom said. The baby's due in February. She reached out and tried to tousle my hair. I ducked and got away from her before she could touch me. Dad took the lid off the pot of the stove and stirred up the stew. Mom went back to slicing carrots. You'd have thought we were discussing, the weather. How could you? I shouted. How could you? Isn't one kid enough? They both stopped and looked at me. I kept right on shouting. Another fudge, just what this family needs. I turned and stormed out of the room. Fudge, my 4-year-old brother, was in the living room. He was shoving crackers into his mouth and laughing like a loon at Sesame Street on TV. I looked at him and thought about having to go through all of it over again, the kicking, the screaming, the messes, and much, much more. I felt so angry. I kicked the wall. Have you ever done that? I might have. Fudge turned. Hi, Peter, he said. You're the biggest pain ever invented, I yelled. He tossed a handful of crackers at me. I raced to my room and slammed the door so hard my map of the world fell off the wall and landed on my bed. My dog, Turtle, barked. I opened the door just enough to let him squeeze through and then slammed it shut again. I pulled my Adidas bag out of the closet and emptied 2 dresser drawers into it. Another fudge, I said to myself. They're going to have another fudge. There was a knock at my door. My dad said, Peter, go away, I told him. I'd like to talk to you, he said. About what? As if I didn't know. The baby. What baby? You know what, baby. We don't need another baby. Need it or not, it's coming, Dad said. So you might as well get used to the idea. Never! We'll talk about it later, said Dad. In the meantime, scrub up. It's time for dinner. I'm not hungry. I zipped up my bag, grabbed a jacket, and opened my bedroom door. No one was there. I marched down the hall and found my parents in the kitchen. "I'm leaving," I announced. "I'm not going to hang around and waiting for another Fudge to get born. Goodbye." I didn't move. I just stood there waiting to see what they'd do next. "Where do you think you're going?" Mom asked. She took 4 plates out of the cabinet and handed them to Dad. "To Jimmy Fargo's," I said, although until that moment I hadn't thought at all about where I would go. "They have a 1-bedroom apartment," Mom said. "You'd be very crowded." "Then I'll go to Grandma's. She'll be happy to have me." "Grandma's in Boston for a week visiting Aunt Linda." "Oh. So why don't you scrub up and have your dinner, and then you can decide where to go," Mom said. I didn't want to admit it, but I was hungry. And all those good smells coming from the pots and pans on the stove were making my mouth water, so I dropped my Adidas bag and went down the hall to the bathroom. Fudge was at the sink. He stood on his stool, lathering his hands with 3 inches of suds. "Hello, you must be Bert," he said in his best Sesame Street voice. "My name is Ernie. Glad to meet you." He offered me one of his sudsy little hands. "Roll up your sleeves," I told him. "You're making a mess." Mess, I love to make a mess," he sang. We know, I told him. I ran my hands under the faucet and dried them on my jeans. Jeans? When we got to the table, Fudge arranged himself in the chair. Since he refuses to sit in his booster seat, he had to kneel so he could reach his place at the table. "Peter didn't scrub," he said. "He only rinsed." "You little," I started to say, but Fudge was already yapping away to my father. "Hello, Bert. I'm Ernie." "That's right," my father said, playing along with him. "How are you?" "Well, I'll tell you," Fudge said. "My liver's turning green and my toenails are falling off." This is too good. You tell me how you like it and if you want me to read you some more. Love you guys.